r/AskReddit, what's a completely random fact no one asked for? The state Route 71 Blackbird didn't need a microwave because the pilots can heat their meals just by holding them against the window. And don't forget the credence tapes. All tennis rackets are strung manually. There are no machines that use automation to string rackets. Similarly, there is no machine that can crochet. Any crocheted item you see in a store was handmade. Feel like I'm being strung along now. The xerographic process is how you get your office laser printer to work. Toner is plastic that sticks to the paper that got hit with a laser printer, and is a different charge. The toner is being held on by static electricity. At the end it goes through two hot rollers called a fuser and is baked into the paper, and that's why paper feels warm coming out, because plastic is melted into paper. Warm copies make everything better. Link. Whale milk is the same consistency as toothpaste. I mean, it makes sense. If it was the same watery consistency as most land mammals, a lot would spread out in the sea and be wasted. A growing whale calf needs all the nutrients it can get. Australia is wider than the moon. I always go with Al Gore's son-in-law is the lead singer of OK Go. Really? A peregrine falcon can dive at over 200 miles per hour. I didn't even know they could swim. I worked as a teacher in a school and had a peregrine falcon crash into our classroom window and smash it. We called a falconry to come and collect it, and, apparently, it made a full recovery. One of the stranger days though, although, not as rare as you'd think, because we've also had to save a bat and a swan. Among Fortune 500 companies, 2018 was the first year that the number of CEOs who were women exceeded the number who were named John. Edit, grammar. Well, I don't see John whining about it, do I? The Michelin man's real name is Bibendum. And GT, Bibendum. Netflix logo appears. So, is that what the guy in the insurance commercials is saying? Scientists have calculated that there have been 117 billion people that have ever lived. And his dog Thor worked on Futurama, which is how they got him to cameo as himself. The total estimated deaths caused by malaria is between 50 and 60 billion, or half of all humans that have ever existed. The 4 spikes on the tail of a stegosaurus is called a thagomizer. Far Side comic strip artist Gary Larson coined the word. This is Beck Simmons' erasure, and I won't stand for it. Rip Beck Simmons. In 2005, new paleontological discoveries meant that a scientific term had to be assigned to baby/juvenile pterosaurs. The author chose to name them flaplings. Why not flaplings? Up 33% of hip fractures in the older population result in death within a year. Many times when someone falls and breaks their hip, the hip breaking is what caused the fall. Worked at a few senior assisted living facilities/communities, and once they start falling it's downhill from there, and relatively quick. Sad to see. The difference between a hotel and a motel is in a hotel your room is accessed from inside, and a motel you access your room from the outside. Armadillos almost always have identical quadruplets. One fertilized egg splits into 4 embryos. Also, the difference between graveyard and cemetery is that a graveyard is on church grounds. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. From my giraffe-loving 7-year-old, a giraffe's horns are called ossicones, which are mostly cartilage. The youngest picture of yourself is also the oldest picture of yourself. The human animal is the only animal with permanent breasts. Explains my attraction to only human women then. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. The giant tortoise did not receive a scientific name for over 300 years due to the failure of delivery of specimens to Europe because they were so delicious that sailors invariably ate them during the voyage. Now this time. One of the best cheese bits ever. Armadillos are also one of the few North American animals that carry leprosy. Barry Manilow did not in fact write his hit I Write the Songs. He wrote the ad jingle for State Farm Insurance and a lot of others. ChatGPT, pronounced with a French accent, phonetically translates to cat, I have farted, in French. ChatGAIPT. I now know a French phrase, thanks. There are 32 muscles in a cat's ear. You can see them in action when you call their name and they ignore you. The airspeed of an unladen swallow, European and African, is 11 mph or 39 km per hour. It is also unknown if a swallow even could carry a coconut, but a group of swallows, a gulp, may be able to. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky in 3 days after watching a boxing match because the only acting jobs he could get were bit parts and porn, and he was homeless for a while. The producers wanted Burt Reynolds to play the lead, but Stallone refused, and accepted huge budget cuts to star in his own film. It could grip it by the husk. The D in D-Day also stands for day. So really it was just Day-Day. Brought to you by the Department of Redundancy Department. The history of Monterey Jack cheese. There was a local landowner named David Jack. He owned most of what was once Fort Ord. He donated it during the First World War. He also is credited with Monterey Jack cheese, though he actually stole it from a local mission, Carmel, and added his name. Hence the Monterey Jack. The purpose of golf is to play as little golf as possible. There are more pigs than people in Iowa. The most expensive liquid is scorpion venom, priced at $39 mil per gallon. I used to think the most expensive was horseshoe crab's blood, that's only $60,000 per gallon, however. I learned something new. Link. Lightning McQueen's first name is Montgomery. LOL, what? I'd assumed Lightning was his first name. Additional fun fact, he had to sell his dog in order to afford to live just enough to make it through filming. Afterwards, he spent $5,000 tracking down the guy he sold his dog to and buying his dog back. Elephants can purr, like cats. Chickens can purr as well. They can vary slightly between each individual, but they do purr. Cheetahs are the largest big cat who can purr. They also are only cat to not be able to retract their claws. All part of the evolutionary bottleneck they were in. They are all inbred as fuck. The human anus can stretch up to 7 inches before taking damage. A raccoon can squeeze into a hole as tight as 4 inches. 2 hopefully unrelated facts. I did not need to know this. But now I do. I am not sure what to do with this newfound information yet. What a terrible day to be literate. Octopuses, octopi, and octopus are all accepted plural spellings for octopus. Also stop eating them. Also octopodes. Also yes, stop eating them. What about octopussies? A B-2 stealth bomber has retractable cup holders and a mini microwave in the cockpit. Octopuses have one central brain, then a smaller brain in each tentacle. There are millions of camels in Australia. Related fact, Saudi Arabia imports camels from Australia. There are only 25 blimps in use, worldwide. A factoid is actually an item of unreliable information that is reported and repeated so often that it becomes accepted as fact. Not a small fact. The plastic piece on the end of a shoelace is called the aglet. Not mine, they have individual names. AGLET, don't forget it. So did even World War II patrol bombers like the Catalina or the Sunderland, not a microwave, albeit, but a hot plate. Flights lasted up to 24 hours, and crew fatigue was figured out pretty early on. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again, Reddit glitch out.